Hi there, welcome to the Accounting and Tax Bootcamp for Small Businesses. I'm going to share with you the basics that you need to know to simplify doing your small business accounting and taxes in this video. If you're new here, my name's Amanda and you're watching the Business Finance Coach, where I simplify the technicalities of business to help you succeed and know your money. I'm the creator of the Master Your Accounting and Taxes program, which guides you through setting up your accounting records using unique spreadsheet templates and helps you end the confusion around your accounting and filing and saving taxes. You can get the free resources that I go over in this video by clicking a link down in the description below or somewhere around this video. Head over to my website and you can get these tools for free. Okay, let's jump into the checklist for our Business Accounting and Tax Bootcamp. The first thing you need to know is that you really want to keep your business and your personal money separate. In legal jargon, this is called no commingling of funds. So if you think about when you've worked for a business that you didn't own in the past, right? It's really easy for you to keep your personal money separate from the business, right? You're certainly not offering to just pay for things for the business, and the business isn't just offering to pay for stuff for you. And you're not opening up credit card accounts in the name of the business, right? You wouldn't do that, and vice versa, right? So it's easy to keep things separate when you don't own the business, but when you own the business and you have your personal money, it becomes a lot easier for these things to get messy. Keeping these separate really helps you with all the steps that follow. So let's talk about why this is required. If you can see here on my business types cheat sheet, if you have a sole proprietor business, which just means you're the only owner and you didn't form a business entity by registering with the state, then this actually isn't required for you. You don't have to keep things separate for legal and tax purposes. You still might want to follow the steps of keeping it separate. It's good practice, it's convenient and helpful, but it's not required. For all of our other business entity types, LLC, partnership, corporation, this is required. And if you don't do it, then your entity basically may not exist when it comes to legality purposes if you're sued, or tax purposes when you're filing your taxes. And so in and of itself, if the business doesn't hold up, that could have big financial implications for you. So if you're going to set up a separate business, you really got to keep it separate. So why is this hard to do? Without knowing all of the rules, the accounting and tax legalities, it is hard to know what is truly meant by keeping things separate. If you don't have training and guidance in this, in the legal side and taxes, this is a hard thing to just know to do because none of it is intuitive. One tip I want to give you here, everything starts with ownership. So whoever owns the business bank account, then it should go under my personal finances. If it's owned by the business, it goes under the business, right? Everything comes down to ownership. Who owns the account? Who owns the credit card? Who owns the vehicle? Who owns the house with the home office, right? Everything starts with ownership. And this is why in my Master Your Accounting and Taxes program, I guide participants through an exercise called the money map. And what this helps them do is separate out their business and personal finances and really understand how to separate everything, or plan to separate everything if you're just getting started, which it's a lot easier to get it right from the start. But we guide you through planning out how to separate it, really thinking it all through and making a checklist for yourself of the steps you need to take to get it separated. Plus, when mistakes happen, because they will, because you own your personal finances and you own the business, so it's likely there's going to be mistakes, we teach you how to correctly handle recording those or reimbursing, or how to clean up your past records if you've fallen behind and you're getting caught up. Okay, so the second thing we need to talk about in our boot camp here is You must keep what's called a complete accounting record, but I know that most people don't really know what that means. So a complete accounting record means that you're keeping track of literally every single transaction under every account owned by your business or related to your business, every transaction related to your business in one place, meaning like a accounting software like QuickBooks or a spreadsheet if you're using my Master Your Accounting and Taxes program. A lot of business owners end up using QuickBooks for one thing, another software for another thing, another, they have their bank account over here, they get a credit card over here under personal, and come tax time, right, they try to piece all these together. Okay, some other pieces you need to know about a complete accounting record. It has to be maintained regularly. So at least like monthly or quarterly, but not like once a year, right? You want to keep track regularly. And you need to save all of your supporting documentation, receipts, bank statements, etc. So why is this required? So for legal and tax purposes, a complete accounting record allows us to tick and tie every single transaction with the balances of everything we own, everything we owe, and our owner activity and our owner accounts. So this is how we have good records that can really be checked, and if we don't keep track as we go, basically the IRS knows it's far less likely to actually be correct. So why is this so hard to do, right? Well, in order to do complete accounting records, in general, using tools like QuickBooks and stuff and assets, liabilities, and owner's equity, you really have to understand the language of accounting, debits and credits. And to do that, you really need to speak that language and be in that industry all the time and not just trying to do it a little bit here and there. Also, working with a bookkeeper can often be challenging or just too costly for small businesses since they don't really understand everything that the bookkeeper needs, and the bookkeeper doesn't usually help them set up their processes right. And so business owners can get really frustrated working with a bookkeeper, an accountant. Now, why we really like this requirement, okay? I know that it sounds a little challenging so far, but once you learn how to keep a complete accounting record, it's going to help you run your business for the rest of your life, right? You're never going to unlearn what you know. It's a skill that will really help you and give you peace of mind. You'll also be able to delegate this to an assistant or work with a bookkeeper or even use another accounting software later on because you'll really understand what you're doing in your accounting records and everything for taxes. All of this is why in my Master Your Accounting and Taxes program, I created unique accounting spreadsheet templates that allow you to keep complete accounting records, replacing software like QuickBooks, without needing to understand debits and credits. And we can do this because most small business owners use what's called cash method of accounting. Plus, I created the training that you really need to go through to learn to set up your systems and do all this smoothly along with keeping your record. So number 3 in our boot camp is accounting reports, and actually using your accounting reports and understanding them. So your accounting reports are typically going to be automatically produced, and they're going to summarize all of the transactions from your complete accounting record. These reports should make your life easier and give you peace of mind. So why is this required? Well, your reports summarize your business records, and they give you the information you need to save and file taxes and just run your business better. So why is it hard to do? Well, a lot of business owners will try to kind of piece together their reports without having a complete accounting record. And the income statement worksheet that I give away is a tool that lets you do this if you don't have the complete accounting record. In the spreadsheets in my MyApp program, this report is summed up for you automatically based on all the transactions you entered and how you set up and use the spreadsheet. However, if all you want to do is piece together your numbers right now, maybe your business is small, you can certainly use that tool for that. So how my Master Your Accounting and Taxes program helps with this is I really teach you to create and use your own account list so that when you look at your reports, you actually understand what you put in each of these accounts. And therefore, you can use your reports to understand what's going on in your business better. And when it comes to taxes, we have all sorts of tools that allow you to come up with your tax totals. Now, why we actually really like this requirement, this piece of your accounting records, is because once you actually use these reports and once they have meaning to you and you understand them, they're going to make your life easier and put you in the financial know. So even if the situation is dire, when we know what it is, we're better able to make decisions and address it. Okay, so now number 4 in our boot camp is quarterly estimated tax payments. So everyone will ask me, like, should I make a quarterly estimated tax payment? The answer to this is if you will owe taxes in the future on your April 15th income tax return, then you must make a quarterly payment now. So why is this required? Well, we have what's called a pay-as-you-earn tax system. So all businesses except the corporation are flow-through entities, which means your business activity comes through to you personally based on how much of the business you own. And then you pay taxes for that business income on your tax return. And because we have a pay-as-you-earn system, you need to pay 4 times throughout the year. Now, why is this hard to do? That's easy, right? The complexities of our income tax system. Without tools and training, this can be really daunting and confusing. But my Master Your Accounting and Taxes program can help because I created a unique spreadsheet template to let you calculate if and how much of a tax payment you need to make. And using this spreadsheet, I think, can be really helpful because you'll really learn to understand the tax calculation. And I think that that's one of the benefits of this requirement is like we want to pay as we earn as business owners. You can use online tools. If you search, do I need to make a quarterly tax payment calculator? You'll find all sorts of tools. The IRS has one. The problem with these tools is that they calculate based on if you have a penalty for not making a payment or not. But the way our quarterly tax requirements are set up is they're really set up for people that earn money pretty much evenly throughout the year and are pretty much staying at a consistent level of income, maybe going up the next year a little bit and like that. But as businesses, we can really fluctuate our income. And I don't know about you, but whether I have a penalty or not, I want to pay as I go. I don't want to end up with a huge surprise next year when I file my taxes that I owe all this money and maybe I invested that money or I did stuff with it, right? And then of course there can be penalties and interest as well, which is even more of a motivator. But so paying as we earn is a lot easier and it's a great habit to get used to, but we really need to understand the calculation. And our spreadsheet allows us to base the calculation on what we're actually earning this quarter instead of using the penalty as a way of only making the smallest required amount of a payment. So for example, let's say I made $200,000 last year and I need to make, according to one of these tools, I need to make a $15,000 payment 4 times during the year. Well, let's say this year my business makes $1 million. To avoid a penalty, I still only need to make the $15,000 payments. But come April 15th next year, I'm gonna owe maybe 100, 150, 200, depending on my tax situation, maybe 3 in taxes, right? So like we want to pay as we earn. We want to know where we stand. And that's what my spreadsheet template lets you do. Our last tip here on our boot camp checklist is number 5, additional tax write-offs that you need to keep track of. The income statement report from our accounting record, this is one of the most popular reports that people know, tracks our business income and our business expenses. And those business expenses are our starting point for tax write-offs. We basically get to deduct them all as tax write-offs. But for certain types of business expenses, the IRS has additional tracking requirements. So why is this required, right? These additional records are required because otherwise you can't follow the tax rules when you're calculating the amounts. Now, why is this hard to do, hard to know about? So this is really hard to know about and keep track of because of the complexities of our income tax system and because of how bookkeepers and tax preparers help small businesses. It's a really disjointed process, and this area is often really missed if you're paying for low cost tax services because you're just not paying for the extra help to get these details or to have the time for them to teach you this stuff to keep track of. But all of these records are actually required if you're audited. And it doesn't matter that you paid the tax professional, you're still responsible for having these details. Even if the tax pro just entered the details and asked you some questions and, put it on your tax return, you are still responsible in an audit. So how my Master Your Accounting and Taxes program can help you with this. So I created a unique tax template library to help you learn about each of these additional deductions that apply to your situation and track the specific details, such as for the home office, a travel deduction, driving a personal vehicle for business, if you've purchased assets or real estate, equipment, and more. And why we actually like this requirement is it helps us understand the taxes better, and we're able to get bigger write-offs by understanding these rules. Okay, and that's all for our boot camp on your business accounting and taxes. To recap, our first basic tip that you need to know is to keep the business and personal finances separate and that's all based on ownership. Number 2 is to keep a complete accounting record for your business, which means tracking every single transaction related to the business, including every single transaction under any business account, like a bank account, credit card, liability account. We need to do it regularly and have one complete record. Plus, we need to save all of our receipts, statements, and documentation. Our third basic task is to have the accounting reports that summarize our accounting record and give us all the information we need to file our taxes, maximize our tax deductions, and give you peace of mind for the decisions you need to make to run your business more profitably. Number 4 is making quarterly estimated tax payments and understanding that if you're going to owe taxes at the end of the year, you've got to make a payment now. There are free tools for doing this, but again, we talked about how awesome my spreadsheet template is because it helps you actually understand how you can pay as you earn. So you have no surprises or penalties or interest come tax time. And the 5th part of our boot camp was to track your additional tax write-offs. So certain things the IRS requires more details for, and we therefore need to keep those additional records in case we're audited and to technically be able to calculate the correct amount and maximum amount. I hope you found this video helpful. I'd love to hear from you down in the comments below. What are your questions, your biggest takeaway? Again, head over to my website if you want to save the checklist or the worksheet, or if you have any questions about how I can help you in the Master Your Accounting and Taxes program. You can check out the links below and again, reply to any of the emails. I'd love to help.